This past Monday's Emmy Awards opens with a musical number called We Solved It. I attempted to reenact it yesterday. Most of you didn't catch on. Anyway, it featured comedians singing and dancing about all the diverse nominees this year. And while the number was meant to be funny, not everyone seems to be laughing. Actress Lynn Whitfield, who I love, an Emmy winner herself, she was originally the Mama Cheetah. Yes. She sat down with Jezebel yesterday to share her thoughts on diversity and representation at award shows. Check it out.
The award shows are becoming more diverse, but my prayer is that none of the diversity is gratuitous. None of the diversity is patronizing. That the diversity isn't just sort of dangling little bits of to satisfy groups of people.
Wow.
Okay.
Ladies, do you agree with Lynn?
I don't think that there was too much diversity. I think they talked about it too much. They had the song, then they came out with the black jokes, then they kept talking about it, like referencing it. It's like, you know what, diversity is just what it is. I mean, you don't have to keep talking about it. You don't have to sing about it and pat yourself on the back. We see it's diverse by who you're nominating, by the people that are winning.
Absolutely.
So I just think that it was, for that program, for me personally, it was just too much. Yeah, we diverse. Okay, calm down.
And
all right?
I think what she is saying is that she wants to make sure that we're not becoming a fad. We're not becoming a trend, that you're only nominating us because we're, quote, in. You're nominating us because we're equally deserving.
Right.
Yes. And that's what we should see.
Yes. I got that from what she said too, and I agree and disagree in that you're right, it shouldn't be a fad, it shouldn't just be a hot topic for right now. However, getting up to see across the stage walking all these nominees and all these people that are winning because they're people of color, that is still amazing to people at home who are like, oh, something's changing here, because since we talked about it in season 2, a lot more has happened since in award shows. So even, I definitely don't want it to go away, but I don't want it to stop, because that trickle flow effect leads to films like Crazy Rich Asians, the first ever Asian American film in 25 years since Joy Luck Club. So something's happening, it shouldn't end, but it should continue.
But I also have an
definitely should
issue.
continue.
I mean, I want it to continue, but I also want us not to be like all Asian movies, all black movies.
Yeah, right.
I want to see us included in just us blended as a nation.
Lonnie.
You know what I mean?
Because that's just not realistic.
Right,
I mean,
you know.
I think you have to question yourself if you're hanging out with a group of friends that's only one race. Like, because I just don't think that's how normal friendships are. I don't have just one group of, we're all just Latinas. No, I have Asian friends. And I think that it's more so about inclusion. And I think that when they're choosing the nominees, that they think about including other people to create that. But I do agree that I would never want to be given an award just because I fulfilled the status quo of, oh, we didn't have a Latina this year.
Oh, we gotta
Let's make sure we gotta nominate somebody. Let's try to find one. You know, that I wouldn't want that either. But I do think that, like you, Lonnie, I was a little uncomfortable watching the show. There were like moments where I was like I felt that there clearly is racial issues in our country. Like I felt it watching the show. Like this has to be mentioned. And I agree with you. How about we just do it and not talk about it?
Yeah.
How about instead of making all the jokes about
naturally.
it, let's see it
Let's
happening.
see it in your actions and continuously, and nominate me because I'm bomb. How about that?
Exactly.
Right?
I love that.
Okay, well, it's always good to speak your mind, but if you do it on social media, it could get you into trouble. Do you all remember when Roseanne got fired 11 hours after sending out an offensive tweet? Well, that prompted...
Oh my God.
That firing prompted the New York Post to write an article titled, "We are all just one bad tweet away from disaster." In the article, communication specialist Donna Francavilla says, quote, "Social media used to be just you and your friends, but we're now using this megaphone to express our ideas to a much larger audience. Anyone with a public Twitter account is a de facto public figure. We have to be mindful of every word we speak and everything we write."
How
You
about
ladies
what we
agree
think?
with this? Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
How about not just what you write and not just what you tweet, what about how you think? Because
this is only going to make people be more careful about what they tweet, but they're still thinking and speaking those things in their household.
Correct.
We all know somebody who's still saying some inappropriate stuff.
100%. And they're only upset because they got caught.
Right, correct.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring this up too. I loved watching Roseanne, honestly. It was the first time I ever saw a blue-collar, regular family, like that really reflected what I saw in America on TV. And they really portrayed real-life situations. Someone loses a job, there's a family death, kids, go haywire. How do you handle it in a household? So I really wished that there was some way to take this real-life example of what Roseanne did and play it into an actual episode so I could see how would this family react if your mom came home fired from her job because she said some stuff that was not appropriate. Because we all know around the dinner table, you got that one uncle that says stuff where you're like, Uncle, you can't say that no more. You can't think like that. And so what would that look like? Because that's what TV is supposed to do. It's supposed to be a teachable moment.
Yeah. I think the question is, are we standing up for what we really believe? What I mean by that is even in our own families, when we hear people, and I know that we can talk nonstop about everybody has somebody that says something inappropriate, and you got to stand up and say, nah, don't do that.
Right.
Like, let's not say that. And I'm going to be honest, we sometimes only use white people towards us, but there's racism in our families as well, towards them as well.
For sure.
And I think we have to be honest about that, and honest about some of the things that we say and do as well, because it goes both ways.
Well, shut
it down.
Well, I mean, the thing is that it's not. You have to think before you tweet now. You have to think before you post. And I think that's the whole message in all of this. I think, I don't think you should be censored. I think if you feel a certain type of way in this country, you're allowed to feel and think the way you want to. But understand that there will be consequences if you do think a certain type of way.
That will teach you to educate your thinking.
And maybe sometimes we should use things as a teachable moment. In my opinion, for Roseanne, she's been slick about a lot of tweets. She's been slick, it was a long time. So this last one, when you calling a black woman an ape, and then you're gonna come back and I thought she was white, no, you just shut up, okay? Just shut up.
Yeah, she tried to blame it on ambient.
Then you're blaming the sleeping pill, and then you're doing all this. Just be quiet sometimes. And this is the thing. Some people think that they're irreplaceable. Let me tell you something. Everybody can be replaced. Everybody. Okay?
To the left.
And I want to give a big ups to ABC, because ABC, when you got that many people watching 18, it's real hard to cancel the show, especially in these days and times when there's so much competition. But big ups to them for saying, you know what? Sometimes it's not about the viewership or the money, it's about the principle, and that's what we got to get back to in this country.
It's the bigger picture.
Exactly.
And keeping those that deserve their job a job.
Exactly. And that's what they did. So hopefully people will watch the Connors. They will watch them, and we'll see what happens, and just move it along. That's what we do. Now, from tweeting out to coming out, two big names were trending yesterday after news broke that they were maybe just more than friends. Bert and Ernie, y'all, from Sesame Street.
Wow. Ernie!
The former writer for Sesame Street, Mark Salzman, did an interview with the LGBTQ website QueerT, and they admitted, I'm very sensitive about this. I want us to be very sensitive about this subject because a lot of people are thinking some things about this, but the writer said that he suspected that Bert and Ernie were gay. He said that when he was writing the characters, he actually drew from things from his own same-sex relationship. But the home of Big Bird said that Mark made a big mistake. Sesame Street Workshop made a statement to clarify that Bert and Ernie do not have a sexual orientation and that they are simply best friends and puppets and nothing more. Now, in addition to that, the person that created Bert and Ernie, Frank Oz, who's the master puppeteer, I like that word, master puppeteer. He actually, when he read all of this, he sent out a tweet as well. And basically, he said that it seems as if Mr. Mark Salzman was asked if Bert and Ernie are gay. They are not, of course, but why the question? Does it really matter? Why do we need to define people as only gay? There's much more to a human being than just straightness or gayness. And this upset a lot of people. Now, my question to you ladies is, First of all, I thought they was brothers. That's what I thought. You know, I mean, now they went from brothers to lovers. This is like, it's amazing to me. But what are your opinions on this?
I feel like the audience doesn't care. The audience that they are targeting, which is Sesame Street, which I loved Plaza Sésamo growing up. I watched the Spanish version. Maria taught me a few things about basura. But I feel like the audience they're targeting does not care and does not know at their age. They're learning about the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. They don't. What does it matter? Because the audience they're targeting wouldn't know the difference anyway.
Well, I know that when I was watching Sesame Street as a kid, it was one of my favorite shows.
Yeah.
I wasn't really thinking about the genitalia of, you know, and what they were doing sexually as a kid. You know, I was like, okay, they're puppets. But as a parent, I'm focused more on what are you teaching my child?
Yes.
Are you teaching my child to love one another? Are you teaching my children how to be friendly and create amazing friendships? That's what really matters. I don't care if they're brown, yellow, orange, whatever. What is the message that you are portraying?
I hear what you're saying, but I disagree because they do care. And your kids are learning.
At 5 years old and at 3 years old, my daughter isn't thinking that, okay.
Let me finish really quick. No, all I'm saying is, I was that girl. I learned how to speak English.
I'm speaking from my kids and my experience. So you can speak from yours.
Right.
Okay?
Right. So I'm just saying, Tam, that for me, I had to learn from them too. I learned watching Sesame Street to learn how to speak English. And Bert and Ernie were my best friends. I believed in them, and I learned from them how to have a happy and healthy relationship. What's wrong?
But did you care if they were gay or
not? But I learned how that relationship works. So when Sesame Street says that they're not gay, it says to me that being gay is not okay. That's the problem. That's the problem with this situation. So here's the thing. We are talking about representation all the time nowadays.
Right.
And there are kids out there that have 2 moms and have 2 dads, and they need to see that love takes shape in all forms. That is important. So when Bert and Ernie are together, they have the potential to break down barriers that still exist today since I was a kid watching. So to me, when you say puppets aren't people, you're talking about my best friends. Little girl Jeannie says that, no, they were my best friends, and what I learned from them is real, and I need to believe in that today. That's what little kids should learn, that it's not about being gay per se. It's about accepting who they are and not denying.
I agree with you, actually,
whatever
but I'm not saying that negatively.
We don't think that
I'm not saying that I don't...
been able to say that's 2 men that are lovers and are sharing. I'm not sure if they really fully understood that.
And I'm not saying that.
They understood
I'm not saying that in a negative way either.
We're a couple.
I thought about Mrs. Piggy and
And Kermit,
Kermit the Frog.
Because they was
getting it
always
on when they did the movie Muppet Show, and they were talking about that stuff. But I'm just saying, as a parent who and me experience watching that at 3, because I do remember, I was focusing more on my letters, and counting.
Sure.
And it is my responsibility, I agree with you, it is my responsibility as adult to teach my children about the word. And I will talk about that in different times, but I just want to make sure that you see that what I was talking about, I wasn't viewing that negatively. I'm just saying I hope at one point we can all just be people and we don't have to put labels on everything.